When I first heard about 4CNW, I thought it was a really interesting concept because there definitely is truth to there being a very distinct creative community up here in the Northwest, whether it's Ireland, Northern Ireland or Scotland. And I think the more rural areas are probably very attractive to a lot of creative people.
We do all know each other. We collaborate all the time. We kind of very much depend on each other, and I would have always seen the business world as being very separate. So Creative State Northwest is a great way for bringing the business and the creative world together, because naturally we don't hang out in the same circles.
In the Northwest there's a big dispersal, there's no hub of activity. So a business looking for a filmmaker or looking for a graphic designer, they won't stumble on them. There are no graphic design offices waiting around the place to walk into.
If you're a business, you probably will only make contact with people that you have heard of through somebody else, but there could be another creative supplier that matches your particular requirements even more. But how do you access them?
Unless those people are used to shopping in those sectors, they don't know where to start to look.
I was involved in the first round, and learning of the other projects when we all got to meet each other and see how other creatives worked with other businesses. That was really inspiring. They were all hugely successful and hugely diverse, and the match made with the creatives in each case seemed to be a perfect fit.
It would be easy to waste people's time. It's great that there's a bit of matchmaking going on. It's fantastically efficient for a business to be able to walk along, find three people, one after the other, coming in front of them across the table, whose services they need. Within the space of an hour or an hour and a half, they can have effectively done the best possible shopping around. A lot of people registered on the programme, and as soon as they were registering and filling out the form, their brain is starting to work on which creative industry they might want to work with. So just the programme itself is getting businesses to think about how they haven't been using creative industry and how they could use it in the future. It encourages businesses to consider engaging with a creative practice where normally they may not have set aside a sufficient budget to engage. The 4CNW programme allows them to spend a little more and engage a little more.
Creativity and innovation are, well, they're not one and the same, but they're really deeply related and essential for growth. You know, if you're not innovating, constantly innovating, and being creative in doing so, then you have stagnation, really. That matching of creativity and innovation is just like a perfect marriage.
The creative input we can have, as well as an ability perhaps for creative problem solving and just having a different way of thinking about a business issue. When you're in a business, you can get very caught up in, a rigid way of thinking, and as creatives, we're taught to think differently, and we can bring that to the table and then maybe teach the businesses as well to start looking at their own business in a different way.
If the creative industry can come into a business and start off a creative process, well, a company can find that there are 5 or 6 people on their own team that are unbelievably creative and have got fantastic ideas that need to be heard, but the structure hadn't been there before to tease it out. So I think engaging with an external creative partner can help a company become itself more creative and think more creative about what it's doing. And that innovation that has kick-started stays and lingers long after. Whether I work again with my client that I've met through 4CNW or whether someone else will, what's quite likely is that a company, once they've started to engage in contracts like this, they'll repeat it because they'll see the value.
And hopefully that will help the whole innovation process for the businesses, which in the long term is not of benefit not just to the business but for the entire economy in the region.